Welcome to World of Marketing Podcast, a Foster Web Marketing production. Here's your host, Tom Foster.
Okay, Adam Rossen,
Yes.
great to see you.
Great to see you again.
So you are a criminal defense lawyer in Florida.
That's right, South Florida, where all the fun stuff happens.
And there's lots of criminals down there.
All the time. Well, we don't like to use the word criminals because we take a very positive spin with our marketing. But a lot of
That's nice.
good
so
people.
It's like, you're okay. You just went down a bad path.
Right. Well, our tagline is when bad things happen to good people, and
That's a
we've
great
had
tagline.
over and over and over again. People say, I heard that and that spoke to me because I'm a good person and I just made a mistake, or I thought the police was wrong in the situation, or I got blackout drunk and don't remember anything, but I'm a good person. So it's great. So we don't like to use the word criminal that much, but we talk about other people's
People
clients
that
in
have
those
made
ways.
unfortunate decisions.
Yeah.
So, but one of the things that's really cool about you when it comes to that is you're a very empathetic guy, a very nice guy, and it comes through the way that you speak, the way that you talk to people, right? Would you say that that's...
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things that really does set us apart, I think there's a lot of things, but we genuinely do care about our clients. We look out for them as far as their case goes, but more so just for them to be better people in life. We try to do some inspiration with them, and just really try to make them the best version of themselves. And we have a lot of clients that really appreciate that, and it trickles down with referrals and just long-term relationships.
How did you get into law? What brought you to this career?
At first, growing up, I mean, my father's a dentist, and I thought I wanted to be a doctor. But I always, especially in high school, loved Law and Order, loved the show. I was always a good arguer, a good debater, with my parents, friends, whoever. And so I always thought it was going to be one of those two. And second semester at University of Florida, I took chemistry, and it was 500 people in a class taught from a TA who barely spoke English. I believe the curve was around the 65%. That's how hard they made it. So if you got it in the 60s, that was your A. And I just said, no, this is not for me. Let me switch my major. Actually, I withdrew from the entire semester, stayed up in school and partied, but I had a good time. But yeah, well, it's college. And
Planting seeds for future clients.
Right, exactly. Well, the best prosecutors and criminal defense lawyers are ones that have done some things.
Sure.
And quick story is one of my friends, she was a goody two shoes, never been in trouble in her life. And when we started at the state attorney's office together, she lost her first 30 trials in a row. And I would say to her, half joking, but really, I'm like, you can't try a drug case because you've never done a drug in your life. Go
do some drugs.
Well, I mean, look, I know what it's like to be a kid and a young person, and so I know how to prosecute those cases and be able to talk to a jury about it and understand what's going on. And she would just lose trials left and right. And and it kind of made me think and realize, okay, same thing with defense. If you don't know about, if you've never had a drink in your life, how can you really defend DUIs?
Sure.
If you don't drink. Quick little aside, but no, and I just withdrew from the semester and said, okay, I want to do law and switch it, and I ended up double majoring in criminology and psychology. I loved always the psychological part of it, which I think helps me a lot for the marketing. Mm-hmm. And I really enjoyed criminology, but of course those 2 degrees as bachelor degrees are pretty much worthless. You need to go into some kind of master's or PhD or law field after, and I really liked it, and that kind of led me into law school, which I realized when I started law school that it was nothing like Law and Order, and that's why I did not like law school. I actually hated law school.
That's great.
But, yeah.
Where did you go?
University of Miami. So it was a very good school in South Florida, but they were very old school, and there was legal hazing, and it was just a bunch of professors who sat in their ivory towers who told us about law from the 1500s and hazed us. And I'm like, get me in a courtroom, teach me something that I want to learn about.
How were they about marketing?
Oh, nothing. Well, great story. Not so much about marketing, but about the internet. So I started in the fall of 2003, and Miami, again, was behind the times. So we were not given our Lexis and Westlaw passwords until second semester. And the whole semester was, if you cheat, if you use your friends' passwords from Nova or Florida State or any of the other law schools, we will catch you for your research papers and stuff, and we will kick you out of school. And the rationale was about not giving us this is, it's 2003, and what if this brand new thing called the internet breaks? You're going to need to know to get your butt into the law library and learn from the books and find it from the books. I thought that was just so outrageous, so short-sighted, and just flat out stupid.
Right.
So I think they've changed their policy since then, I hope.
I imagine they have. They're like, hey, maybe this internet thing might catch on.
Right. Well, I would understand if it was 1997.
Yeah.
If it was 1995. But in 2003, no.
I started this company in 1997.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. So, and you were on the forefront.
I think that GLM, I was thinking about this morning. Like, Ben and I met in 03 or 04. And we started working on, I think, our first web project. That was Etheridge Society. That was in 05.
Wow.
When you were in law school.
Yeah. I didn't graduate till 06.
Here we are.
Yeah.
So we were working hard, getting better at this while you were working on your craft.
Yeah.
So you made it through law school.
I did. Barely, but I made it.
But you made it. And what did you do after that?
So my last semester, and I've always been very good about planning and trying to figure out the best ways to I don't want to use the word game the system, but just figure out how to get the best advantage or plan, just plan ahead. Yeah. And so I always took summer classes. And so my last semester, I only needed 8 credits to graduate, and I did pretty much a full semester externship. Actually, it's called a CLI status, Certified Legal Internship, at the state attorney's office in Broward, in Fort Lauderdale. And so I tried 5 jury trials before I ever graduated, and I loved it. That was really the only good part of law school that I really enjoyed for me. I'm an okay writer, but I don't like writing. I don't like the briefs. I don't like that stuff.
Right.
So I like being in a courtroom. I like showing my personality. I like having fun.
Right.
And actually, one of my trials, I beat a defense attorney who's now a judge. So whenever I see her, I always kind of wink and smile and be like, hey,
hey, how's it going?
I kicked your butt in 2006. But I loved it. So, of course, I knew I had an inner working for three or 4 months. I knew the inner workings of the state attorney's office. And I used that. They hired about 30 or 40 of us in the 2006 class, and they gave us 3 start dates. August 1st, which was 5 days after the July bar exam, August 15th, or the Tuesday after Labor Day. And I said, well, this is my career. I'm not going to take the vacation. And I knew that they promoted in part based on when you started. So out of the 30 to 40 that they hired, only 5 of us started on August 1st. I was one of them, to get the jump on my career. And that really helped me get ahead of the game and in and out of that office in only 18 months. I was only a prosecutor for 18 months, and I was trying serious felony cases while my friends who started 2 and 4 weeks after me were still trying petty thefts and minor misdemeanors.
You got the best cases. Because you signed on early.
I was the first one promoted out of the 40 people in my class. So I had great experience, yeah. And it allowed me to leave at 26 years old.
So is that when you started your own practice that soon? When did you start your own?
Yeah.
When you were 26?
It was March 1st, 2008. My roommate, who was also a prosecutor with me, we, about 6 months before, we were out one night and we were just kind of complaining about the culture in the office and everything. It's not the best culture in that particular office. They kind of run things in that office behind the times as well. They weren't very forward thinking, and we just didn't like it. We love being prosecutors, but we just, it's hard when you can't pay back your student loans.
Right. It's
hard when you're not really getting thanked or appreciated. So we said, screw it. We're going to go and start our own firm, and you don't know what you don't know. And if I had to do it all over again, I would do it totally differently, but I would definitely leave. And
right.
Our friends said to us, they said, behind our backs, they said, 6 months until they come crawling back. And when you're not making a lot of money and you're young and you have no real, family, like you don't have a wife or kids or a spouse, whatever, to support, we just had to make what we were making at the prosecutor's office. Looking back, it was a no-brainer to leave then.
Right.
When you're 15 years in, that's when it's hard to leave and make that jump. I mean, people still do it.
You
and
were
do
single
really well.
then? Were you single
Well, when you're a prosecutor and you go defense, you don't have clients that you can take with you. It's not like me being a corporate lawyer working at a corporate law firm and then bringing 3 big corporate clients to me to start from scratch with those clients. We had nobody.
Right.
And it was just hustle, which was fun.
What did you hustle? Your list? Your friends? Your family? Your people you knew?
We did. We kind of fell into some things. All the great ideas that we had didn't work, but it was more of just luck and opportunity and realizing, hey, this is an opportunity. Let me seize it. So, for example, we about a few months before, when I was still a prosecutor, I got a bad speeding ticket, and I was court ordered to go to traffic school. So I picked a comedy one. Figured, if I'm going to be there for 8 hours, I might as well laugh a little. And the 2 ladies that owned it and taught were amazing. And at the end of the class, the last hour, I kind of kept raising my hand and saying, well, when you're talking about DUI, you're wrong. This is what it is. And they looked at me, about 15 people in class, and like, are you just a class know-it-all or class jerk? And I said, no, I actually know this stuff. I'm a prosecutor, and I'm going to leave in a few months to start my own firm. And it just clicked. And I went home and told my old partner, and we said, let's go back and talk to them and tell them we're going to come lecture here for free. And so that was 2008, and for the next 5 years, it generated over $200,000 of business for us. So that helped a lot, and it was hustling. It was Saturday mornings, waking up, going, I don't want to drive 30 minutes over there and do this lecture. There's only 6 people in class today. Well, you got to do it. And I remember one of those mornings. That was the scenario. I got 2 clients from that exact class.
When you almost were like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah, and
that's a great lesson
from that exact class. And they've been clients, and they've referred, and kind of like the tree of who they've referred and everything over the last 11, 12 years, and they've been they were instrumental, those 2 clients.
And they refer because how you treated them, the relationship, right?
Oh yeah. We take very good care of our clients. I mean, there's always ways to get better. We're always looking for ways to improve. But yeah, we really have a strong focus. We try to give the Ritz Carlton experience and bring that to a field like such as criminal law, where my friends and competitors go, they complain, and these clients are bad and they're criminals and they're jerks. No, my clients aren't. They love us. My clients love us.
Well, you're very careful, and where do you get them from?
Yeah. Well, the marketing does that.
Right.
Which is
And
good.
so let's talk about the marketing. So when you were on your own, and I mean, obviously that was brilliant that you went and worked in that niche and did those talks every weekend. How did you realize, when did you come to realize, shit, I got to improve my marketing, or what did you do?
Right. So it wasn't until January of 2015 when my partner came to me right after the holidays and said he wanted to split up. So for that entire time from 2008 until 15, we didn't really have much of a marketing strategy at all. It was just referrals. Our old website was terrible. It was a joke. I'd like to one day probably put it into the Wayback Machine and make a poster out of it, just as motivation. Do that. You should.
So when we do this, when we show this webinar, when we show this podcast, we're going to show that.
Yeah. I mean, it was, our friend made it. It was terrible. And looking back, of course, that would be the number one thing in 2008 that I would have jumped on immediately. But I'm here now and doing really well, so I can't complain. But that's what, I lost my partner, the person who held my hand, and we jumped off the deep end together back in 2008, and we're still really good friends. It was very amicable. We had done criminal and immigration, and he became excellent in immigration law, so it was actually very easy to split because I didn't know much about immigration, didn't want to know about it. So we did that, and then saying, okay, all the pressure's on me. And so
but didn't that, weren't you scared? Were
you
scared? Were you like, holy crap, what am I going to do?
Well, and that's
why
you
went through that head trash period, right? Were you married?
No, but I was dating my now wife, and she was really supportive. And it was just, she was actually still in law school. Oh, I was terrified, terrified. But I still think fear is one of the best motivators.
Yeah, sure.
Because what do? You either rise to the occasion or you fold. And It was nights, weekends, just thinking, trying to come up with things. It was me learning. I feel as though I've gotten an MBA and a master's in marketing since 2015 of just consuming information, podcasts, blogs, anything, and anyone I could listen to, anything I could listen to, and just try to say, okay, because of the pressure of I have to bring in everything. And
Sure.
Now, of course, it's just so much more advanced of I actually really like this. And the person in me who loves psychology can say we can do X and it will create Y, and how we get people to purchase from us or call us. So interesting. I love it. And it's, the firm's growth has been pretty good. So.
Well, it comes down to, marketing obviously is extremely important, but you're doing what the most important thing is, which is be a good lawyer and take care of your clients.
Yeah.
That is what I tell everybody. The best marketing that you can do is be a good lawyer, because that's how it works in the legal space, is that people say use my guy, or use my person, or you have to use this person if such and such happened, because most legal things are some accident or some event that happened, and they're not like thinking about it. They're not like, well, today I better be prepared for the DUI I'm going to get later.
Right. No, of course.
And so it's you need to make an impression on people that's lasting. And so they either remember you when they need you again, or they're going to refer you to a friend, right?
Absolutely.
And that's part of what you do very well.
And we've done a good job of building that fence around our herd for that. I actually reference it as the water cooler hypo. Us in trial and jury selection, we like to give a lot of hypotheticals to our jurors or prospective jurors. And for me, it's the water cooler hypo. So I may do an excellent job for you, Tom, right? And you may be thinking of me just from that, right? And but what happens when you're at work and you overhear, right? Let's say Gretchen and Connie are having a talk at the water cooler about Gretchen's son, right? If you're in my herd and my fence is around you, and I'm touching you multiple times per month, you might walk over and say, "Hey, listen, I overheard this.
Totally. You
got to call my guy." Right? I know, or the we call it either the water cooler hypo or the Sunday night barbecue hypo. Same thing, or Sunday day, barbecue. But yeah, so that's part of our goals as well, is to get you to become a maven and really go out there.
It's your sales force, your past customers, your past clients, your friends and family are all your best salespeople that don't cost anything.
Right. Yeah.
And it is the most overlooked piece of marketing that everybody does over and over and over again. Even people here that have been coming here for years and years still don't do what you're doing. You had an instinct for it.
Yeah.
When you say.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So you were already doing stuff before you came to GLM and you came to FWM?
Well, I joined GLM, I think it was November of 2016. So from January 15 to November 2016, the only real thing I did at that point was just try to get more referral relationships, but just me in person, not, I had an old list with my partner for those 7 years that we just didn't do anything. We didn't cultivate it. We didn't even send out emails. I had wanted to, but busy, never did, and just forgot about it. So I started my list over, started sending basic things out that I could just do myself, and I really focused on Avo and the internet and getting really good reviews. We we had a basic site with a different company at first, but I focused a lot on Avo, and within I remember it was a Saturday. I'm down at my now wife but girlfriend's apartment in Miami, and I'm just Googling how to become a 10.0 on Avo. So I read the blog, and I said, okay, not that hard. So from January to March, I did all the things that it said, and I became a much better lawyer in only 2 months. And I started getting reviews, and then about a week or two after I became a 10.0, lo and behold, somebody calls me and said, "Hey, I found you on Avo. You got some good reviews, and I like your credentials." It was mind blown, right? Oh my God, this is
how it works.
Right. What could I have been doing the last 7 years? So, and that really reinforced it. And I just took an approach of, okay, especially in today's day and age, I love reading reviews. when I make purchasing decisions. So that was very big for me, and I just focused on those, those fundamental building blocks for that first kind of year and a half. But then I got to a point where I said, okay, this is working, but I need to blow it up. I need to grow even more, take the next step.
And then what did you do?
So that's when I joined GLM. I had known about you guys for a little bit before I even joined GLM, and just kind of, I think I got on a call, maybe it was a call with Chad, and, just took the plunge, really. And of course it took about, I think, knowing myself, because I was getting busy, but slow to, I made the decision quickly, but we were a little slow to implement. It took maybe 8 months or so to actually get it live, but that was all my fault. But in between, I hired my first marketing assistant, and that really helped. I gave her a lot of those responsibilities where I can really focus more on the things that I like to do. And she got that up and running, and it was great. I mean, at first, my real big desire or want at that point was just to capture more people out of the leaky bucket. I felt as though we were getting traffic in, but we weren't getting a lot of conversions. We weren't getting a lot of people calling. And so I'm like, I just need a really good site that's going to, look amazing, or more people are going to call. But what I didn't know, what I didn't really expect was immediately we had a spike in just traffic as well. So all the SEO and stuff that we did, the way we optimized it, worked, instantly as well. So not only did we get more people in, but then we started converting more. So it was great. Yeah.
But that's a great point that you bring up, because, and that's part of what, I'll be talking about it later, but we talk about is that it's not just traffic, it's conversion of that traffic. And a lot of times you have traffic that's lost leader going to pages that don't convert for whatever reason. And that's why it's so important to pay attention to your traffic. Where is it going to? And how do I make it convert it better? Because you're paying somehow to get that traffic there.
Right.
Yeah. And so that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
So then when did you join the mastermind?
So
a year ago?
I joined it about 12 months ago. My goal was become a GLM member, at the end of 2016, so all 2017. And then I said to myself, 2018, I'm just going to make the jump straight from gold to mastermind. I want to do it.
Yeah.
And I did, and I wanted to make sure that I felt as though I could bring value to the others in addition to just coming and taking. So I did, and the meetings are great, and I feel as though I learn a bunch every time, but I'm able to give some value, especially from my perspective.
So would you say you're at a point in your career, you've been doing the criminal stuff for a while, you're starting to branch in other areas now?
Other areas of criminal, or other areas?
Other areas of law, or other areas of teaching other lawyers how to do things?
Well, it's funny, as far as teaching other lawyers, a lot of my friends, have seen the growth, and it's just funny because they see the growth, and then I'll talk to them and they'll say, "Oh, so Adam, I know you're doing this newsletter, but does it really work?" And I'm like, "Nah, it doesn't work."
No, it's telling you now.
No,
it's no good for you.
Yeah, no, I'm just, of course,
that's a trick you get used to telling your kid when you eat the ice cream. You're like, it was no good.
Right.
I'm just protecting you.
Yeah. But no, I mean, so I have a few really good friends that I'm like, look, this stuff is really working, and I can help you with it a little bit, or teach you some little things.
You should do a local mastermind.
I've been thinking about it. I wanted to do it with other professionals, with non-lawyers. So we focused a lot in the therapy space. So one thing for me, a few years ago, reading, the nerd in me, when I joined GLM, I went through maybe the 3 previous years of materials within a month, and just reading, consuming, and writing notes down. And I saw there was some family lawyers that would do a lot of marketing to therapists. And I said, well, we have a drug and prescription opioid epidemic in South Florida, and substance abuse treatment centers are huge. And there's some terrible ones that are just straight up criminals and doing, and that for them, I can use that word because they're doing really bad things. And then there's some that are doing amazing things. And there's some just really good mental health therapists and things that I would see in the criminal law and DUI law, fields all the time. And I said, you know what, I'm going to be the go-to criminal defense lawyer in that field. And I just made the decision, and it's now there, and it's done. And I mean, it was hard work. It was planning. We did a lot of speaking engagements. We wrote up I've done their version of CLEs. We've done presentations. And I started it with, I need to provide them real value. I can't be the guy who's asking for referrals. And when I do those things, I never ask for referrals, but they come.
Yeah, right.
Because I'm the wise
Sure.
man. And so we've kind of at the top of the mountain, and we've kind of crossed over fields. And that has worked tremendously. And it's fun. I get to meet a whole bunch of groups of other people instead of lawyers.
Are these seminars that you're doing, or you're just you're speaking to the groups?
I've spoken at 2 statewide conferences. One was geared just FOMCA, Florida Mental Health Counselors Association, and the other one's FADA, the Florida Alcohol and Drug Abuse Association. So I've done different lectures for those groups. They're both statewide conferences. One of them.
You're from the approach of what happens legally to people.
Well, my approach. So the first lecture that we came up with was called a unified partnership between attorney and mental health / substance abuse counselor. Basically, telling them, hey, we have the same clients. The last thing that you want is Johnny to see you on Friday, knowing that Johnny has court with me on Monday, and then you find out later that week that Johnny went to prison, and you've lost out, right? Your job is to help Johnny. My job is to help Johnny. But yet, what could you have done more? Educating them on the criminal justice system and giving them tips and tactics to, if it's not me, the lawyer, help that lawyer. Because lawyers are scared and intimidated by therapists. Everybody in the world is scared and intimidated by lawyers, right? I still don't know why, because we're not good. Well, we're not scared. I don't think we're scary, But
you're very nice guys.
Maybe if I got a demand letter from AJ Yalofsky, I'd be a little scared.
Yeah, right.
Right. Corporate merger takeover.
Right.
But
I'll be down in 5 minutes. That's what the note is from AJ.
Right. No, he's like, I'm
Face
knocking on your
face.
door.
Right.
We need to have a talk.
Right.
But yeah, and just come to them from that position. And also I teach them just a little bit about, hey, you can provide these extra services. Maybe ask the lawyer, hey, can I do a comprehensive psych evaluation or a biopsychosocial? Things to arm us to negotiate better with the prosecutors, to really build that mitigation packet, or to, if we're going to do an open plea in front of the judge and really ask the judge to do something like a downward departure, or, really have the judge go out on the limb for the client. Judges don't like to do that unless we can package it up, put it in a pretty little box and put the bow on it and make it easy. When criminal defense lawyers are asking the judge to do all the work, they're not going to stick their neck out on the line. So teaching them those things, teaching them about what, our perspective and what the judges and the prosecutor's perspective of. So really educating them, giving them some tips on how they can even make a little bit more money from their own practice while providing better value. And doing it in a friendly,
helping the client.
Right, yeah. The ultimate goal.
Client.
Exactly. That's the ultimate goal.
Where most lawyers are just churn and burn.
Right.
Guys like you, criminal defense guys.
Oh yeah.
Because they've given up. They have no hope. They see the bottom of life, and it's tough business.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's just good that you just have this very positive attitude and outlook, and you've turned it around into where you're helping people, you're helping your clients, instead of who are these people I've got to deal with. And that's a conversation I have with a lot of criminal defense people.
Well, and one of the things I'm going to say tomorrow is some myths, or just I'm going to call it just the I can'ts, or stop the bullshit. And in criminal law, it's I can't get reviews.
That's bullshit.
It's bullshit. Okay, we have over 300 5-star reviews.
It's amazing.
Okay. Another one is, my clients only like me, when I get results. It's purely results based. That helps, but to say it in that way, one day I'm a great lawyer, the next day I suck, according to the client, it's bullshit. As long as what I've felt and seen is, if there's a case that we can't quote unquote win, our clients know that we've done anything and everything that we could to win their case. No lawyer would have been able to get a better result, and they know that they're still in our herd. We actually do a lot for them when the case is over for free, and we tell them that in the beginning, and we say, look, the only way, if we do have a client that goes on probation, and understand, for some cases probation can be an a huge win if you're looking at significant, prison time on serious felonies.
Sure.
But we'll say to them, look, 2 years probation, we're going to do an early termination of probation motion for free. That's going to be a year. And when I made that decision about 2 years ago, the goal was to keep them encircled, in my right,
in your list.
keep them encircled. And even if, today they're slightly disappointed, right? A year from now, they're going to be very happy when we give them that ultimate result. So that was my thinking behind that. They're encircled for even longer, so we have been getting reviews, and they know, and they're appreciative. And we tell them, we go, look, the only way we'll charge you extra is if you violate probation. So it's on you. We're here. We do letters for employers for free. We tell them we want them to get the job, get the raise, right? We want them to get the new apartment and not lose it because of their criminal history. So we do a lot of things that we can, anything we can do for them for free, and they love it, and referrals are up, and we have great reviews and happy clients.
Is that a package that you tell them about in advance? I mean, I don't want you to, because that's pretty damn cool.
Right.
So I don't want people to steal it, but.
Well, and that's actually on the list to actually brand it as something, whether it's the VIP experience or something like that. But yeah, that's definitely in the next few months. We're working towards that.
Dude,
so
you're going
Olivia,
places.
Who's here, we're gonna make sure that's on the list.
Olivia's like, yeah, all right,
yeah.
Good deal. So, I mean, you're like a rocket. You're just, ever since you started, you just keep going.
Yeah.
And nobody can tell you no. Right.
Exactly.
You're still winning the argument.
There's no such thing. No such thing as no unless it's on a date. Right? Then we say no and we stop.
That's right.
We have fun.
That's good advice from a criminal defense lawyer.
We have fun with what we do.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, Adam, great talking to you, brother. Mm-hmm. And we'll have you on the show again.
Yeah, I love.
Anything else you want to add to our listeners?
Just do it. I mean, I know. Look, it's the Nike thing, of course, but fear. There's so many different acronyms for it, but the one I really like is false events appearing real. It's all fake bullshit. Just do it. And especially the other thing, two other quotes that I like saying that are often repeated. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. 4 years ago, I had 5 reviews. Now I have over 300. It didn't happen like that, but it's
plant the seed.
It's a little bit
going, right?
Yeah, just a little bit every month, and exactly, and to go on the planting of the seed. Best time to plant the tree was 20 years ago.
Right.
Next best time is today. I mean, I think back talking to you and other people. I'm like, oh man, I could have done so much better in 2008 when I started. But that to me, that's out of the mind. That's garbage because I'm doing it now.
Yeah.
Right. And that's all that matters is taking the action, taking the steps, and just get out of all the crap and bullshit that's here and just do it.
There's going to be a lot more people telling you, oh yeah, it's okay, you don't need to do that. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of, and especially in this profession, a lot of lemmings that are going to just say, come on over here and do the same thing that everybody else is doing. And that's exactly what you shouldn't be doing. You need to stick with people like Adam, reach out to Adam. You're a very welcoming and very nice guy that will talk to other lawyers and tell them, you already said that you help some of your friends.
I've had a lot of people help me along the way, so anytime I can pay it forward, you can always call me. I mean, I love talking about this stuff. I love being creative, and even me talking to somebody else as I'm trying to help them, that can actually help me by just thinking about it, talking out, or they might have a phenomenal idea. So I'm all about paying it forward.
And, it's not even really what you were saying here is like get out of your head. I mean, that's 90% of the battle. It's not copy or pay-per-click or do I do social media. It's just getting started on it. You don't need to wait until you've got everything perfect. Just get started with something, right?
Well, and us lawyers, we're always taught to default to no. So like my new thing that I've been saying recently is, especially with my family and my friends, I'm like, just get me to yes. I don't care. Get me to yes.
Nobody's allowed to say no to me.
Right, yeah.
They're not allowed to say no or I can't.
Right, yeah. Actually, my wife and I...
Or no problem.
My wife and I, 4 or 5 days ago, we agreed that "I can't" is going to be a Rossen family bad word for our child. We have a newborn, and we're really trying to decide how we're going to raise him.
Or I'll try.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
There's no such thing.
No, just get me to yes.
Do it.
Just get me to yes.
Just do it and get me to yes.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, brother, great talking to you.
Yeah, always.
You're just kicking ass, and I'm very proud to have you as a
Mm-hmm.
client for so long, and looking forward to many more years and your success.
Yeah, thanks. Well, it's easy when you have great mentors and you just do it. It
All
is.
right, buddy.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Tom.
man.
Yeah, thanks,
Talk
Tom.
to you soon.
Yep.